Welcome to History's Mysterious Minds, the podcast that walks the boundary between fact and folklore, light and shadow, where silence often says more than evidence ever could. Tonight, we head to a quiet forest in Suffolk, England. The year is 1980. The Cold War is tense, the skies are watched closely, and for 2 nights in December, something unexplained descends into the trees near 2 NATO air bases, sparking what many call Britain's Roswell. This is the story of the Rendlesham Forest Incident. Just outside the peaceful Suffolk countryside lie 2 Cold War air bases, RAF Woodbridge and RAF Bentwaters. Though labelled RAF, they were operated by the United States Air Force. The area was heavily secured, housing advanced aircraft, and, some believe, nuclear weapons. The forest between them, Rendlesham, is thick with pines, quiet paths, and secrets. In December 1980, those secrets came alive. Around 3 a.m. on December 26, 1980, strange lights were seen descending into the forest. 2 United States Air Force security patrolmen, John Burroughs and Jim Penniston, were dispatched to investigate. What they found was no aircraft crash. Instead, they described a glowing object, metallic, triangular, with strange markings. Penniston claimed he touched it. The air was charged. Their radios malfunctioned. The craft then lifted silently and vanished through the trees. After the encounter, the men returned to the site during daylight. There were impressions in the ground, 3 of them, forming a perfect triangle. Burn marks on the bark, radiation levels that measured higher than normal. Photographs were taken, plaster casts were made. Official reports acknowledged the disturbance, but explanations were evasive. A lighthouse? A hoax? Few were convinced. 2 nights later, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, Deputy Base Commander, went into the woods with a team. They brought radiation meters, a cassette recorder, and armed guards. What they encountered would make headlines. Lights danced through the trees. A red orb moved with intelligent control. Holt's team followed it and recorded their reactions in real time. That tape still exists. The tape is crackly, filled with wind and nervous voices. You hear Holt calmly describing a flashing object. Red, moving horizontally. You hear surprise as it splits into multiple lights. One object beams a shaft of light directly onto their location. This is unreal, someone says. The audio is clear, the fear, real. This wasn't a meteor, it wasn't imagination, and it's never been debunked. Years later, Penniston revealed something else. After touching the craft, he claimed he received a telepathic download, a string of 1s and 0s. He wrote it down in a notebook. Decoded decades later, the binary message allegedly read coordinates to ancient sites around the world. The Great Pyramid, Nazca Lines, and one word: exploration. Fact? Hoax? Either way, it deepened the mystery. Despite multiple eyewitnesses and physical evidence, the Ministry of Defence took little action. They claimed the incident posed no threat to national security, yet, behind closed doors, documents were filed. Radiation readings were noted. United States Command quietly discouraged discussion. Holt's memo to the Ministry of Defence leaked, sparking global attention. Still, the case remains officially closed. Debunkers offered explanations: misidentified lighthouse beams, stars distorted by atmospheric conditions, even holiday pranks by bored soldiers. But none explained the ground markings, radar anomalies, or the sheer number of trained military witnesses. Skepticism is healthy, but when it ignores data, it becomes denial. While Roswell was buried in the 1940s and only later revived, Rendlesham unfolded live, in real time, among United States and British forces. It involved multiple nights, credible officers, and physical evidence. No crash debris, but no easy dismissals either. That's why it's often called the United Kingdom's Roswell, but in some ways, it's more compelling. In the years that followed, Colonel Holt remained firm. He believed they witnessed a craft not of this earth. He stood by his men, his tape, and his written memo. In public interviews, he expressed frustration at the cover-up. "We weren't chasing stars or deer," he said. "Something intelligent was manoeuvring in that forest." His credibility is hard to dismiss. Burroughs later claimed missing time. He couldn't account for a 2-hour window. He also developed health issues, later linked to radiation exposure. The United States government eventually approved his medical coverage, indirectly validating his claim. Peniston reported strange dreams and continued mental downloads. What happened in that forest didn't stay in the forest. Documents related to Rendlesham were later declassified. Some were heavily redacted, others mysteriously vanished. Researchers who filed Freedom of Information Act requests found delays and resistance. Why so much secrecy over nothing unusual? Either the truth is too mundane or too powerful to share. The military wasn't alone. Civilians in the area also saw lights those nights. A farmer reported livestock distress. Locals described power outages and strange humming sounds, but few spoke openly, many feared ridicule. Over time, though, their voices added texture to the official record. Whatever happened wasn't confined to the base. The timing matters. In 1980, NATO tension was high. United States nukes were reportedly housed at Bentwaters, despite denials. Some suggest the lights were advanced Soviet drones. Others think the base's activity attracted attention from elsewhere. Rendlesham occurred in the shadows of history's most secretive era. That alone deepens its mystery. No single theory explains it all. Not the lighthouse, not mass hysteria, not Cold War tests. Multiple trained officers, across multiple nights, described the same thing. Something unidentified, intelligent and physical. That doesn't mean alien, but it does mean unknown. And that's where true mystery lives. And that's the Rendlesham Forest Incident, Britain's most credible UFO case. The lights may have faded, but the questions never did. Was it a secret test, a foreign craft, or a visitor from somewhere else? Whatever it was, it left a mark on the ground, on the people, and on history. If you found tonight's episode thought-provoking, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us shine a light on more stories history couldn't fully explain. Got a mystery you want us to explore? Let us know. We're always listening. Until next time, keep looking up and wondering, what's looking back?